Okay, let's see here. I am a view user. And I'm going to try Svelte for the very first time. So if we go to the home, they start, here they start with sponsors. That's really good. I am a view user. I've dabbled into view 3 a little bit, but I just realized today that I actually haven't looked at view documentation for a long time. I don't even know if I have. I just learned how to use it and I use it every day. Okay, and here we have Svelte, the new kid on the block. Wait, what's going on? We don't want this. What is this? What is this? Did I hit something? Okay. Is the new kid on the block? Look at the documentation. Oh, gold sponsors. Got a lot of good friends, huh? Wow. Lara, that's really good. Cypress. Single funded. Okay. The good thing about, let's go directly into the code of Svelte. To start with, I have to say that Vue and Vue and Svelte share a lot of common ground. I mean, they have stolen from each other. You can go to the playground, and you can see that they have stolen a lot from each other. I mean, they have inspired. For example, if we wanted to do this in, we've got this ref, but we don't really need it right now. So we could actually copy this right here. View 3 has copied from Svelte. Hello world, and we could copy this here actually. And the only thing we'll have to add another one of these guys. Sure, it has a template literal here, but that's what it's in. Script setup. In the case of Vue 3, if you don't want to do the option API when you export your variables here, and here we go with Svelte. It's very similar. There's not big difference. Yeah, you can do this in daytime and then it will be almost the same. That's very cool. This outputs a JavaScript, and this also outputs a JavaScript. It's got the server-side rendering. It's very similar. Exports, imports, exports world. Okay, so that's pretty similar. Dynamic attributes. This is the same here. You could get an image and put it here. The only thing is like, let me get a placeholder image. Let me get a placeholder image. Oh, Rick Martin. Rick. GIF. It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference, I think, is that, for example, let's take this away, and we have our name, the cache lead. This is the same, which is sort of funny, huh? Don't you think? I can put let equal to. I just picked up an image from Google. The only difference is the tag. Okay, we put an image tag here. We'll do it like this. I don't really like that much because that is strange. So it would be usually with src equals a name, but here you would have to make it a variable. You just put 2 points, and I just put the src up there, and that will give you the image. All right. I don't know if this image can be seen. Right. This is strange here. That's not a good image. That's not a valid image. You're right. So this is pretty similar. The alt is a similar thing, you know. You could do alt. You could just put alt and something here, text, regular text. If you want to make it into a variable, you have to put the name now. If you want to do these mixed names with JavaScript, this seems handy, but this is a little bit confusing for me. It's confusing because it's not really HTML and it's not JavaScript either. So we're going to have what is this? What exactly is the syntax? Once I learn this, where am I going to use this? So I can use literals here, whatever you call. That is, you can use back brackets that are very, very handy in JavaScript. But that's JavaScript, So I don't know what to say. What do I mean is JavaScript? I don't know if I can do a console over here. I can go to the console and can clear all that, and I can say igual a Rick, and I can actually I can put name. I can actually copy from here. Directly, I can copy this from here, which is pure JavaScript, and then I can do this. I should be able to do this, right? If I put a equals, that's working because this is inside. When you put the binders, this is JavaScript. This is not JavaScript. This is, I don't know what it is. It will just give me an error. It's not JavaScript and it's not HTML, so that's okay. I mean, that's this doesn't give me anything. It gives me the object name, but doesn't. It puts name into an object. So this actually is not absolute. This means something in JavaScript. This is if I put b equals name, it's gonna create something. So it's actually making something. which is okay. But it's I can see it. I can see it's fun. But one of the things that I like about Vue is that I have my JavaScript and my HTML. So JavaScript users can learn Vue in a day. In a couple of hours, half an hour, in an hour. And HTML users can also understand this very, very simple, because this is very, it's HTML. It's the alt, and then you put a variable. Okay, this is how you put it. That's fine. Or this way. That's it's even better. This is okay, but oof. Okay, where did it go? Okay, now what happens if this name? I mean, I don't know. Right now, I don't know. Because usually it's not called. It's not. You're not gonna call this. You might call it image. I know. I'll have to look. If this is called image, I know I can go and do this, right? I mean, any designer, anybody that doesn't know, that just knows HTML would completely understand that. It's like, hey, here goes the image. If the image is called whatever, you understand that. I'm not sure. So it would be this, but it's not. So she's saying that if I put here name, it should be. It should be. Let's see, one name something. Let me know. Sorry. Image. I don't know. See, I don't know. It's short for source. I put it wrong. SRC. I don't know. This should be working, right? This should work. I don't know. That should work. I think I'm thinking. No, I think I'm thinking this has to work. This should be working. I don't know why it's not working. I think this might be some kind of compiler bug, because that should definitely work. Okay. Next style. This is exactly the same as. This is completely from Vue. This is actually something that Vue started to put it in the same file, which is funny to me. How this is that's easy. And now nested components. This is very similar in Vue. I mean, it's just funny how they just copied. Now, the funny thing, okay, this is basically the same thing. The only thing I think with nested here is .view, and I think you need the template, which is not a bad thing, in my opinion. And from what I've read, these styles don't get affected. And then you would import the nested, it's the same thing. You just import it here, import nested, which is a little bit freaky actually. Nested, 120. and you have to put it in here. But um, but they do affect here. I'm not sure what, because you're styling the P, so I'm not sure what you're doing here, because watch the CCS output. That's just crazy. It creates a P specific for this style. I'm not sure. I can't even think what context I would do. That would be beneficial, because sure it looks cool and it's good, but that probably means also that you have a messy CCS organization. If your components are getting bled, your styles are not controlled. That's definitely not a good design option. But it's okay. It's good to have it. I'm not sure how you would do this. You have to add a class, which is just as simple. You could just add a class here, and okay. I mean, you can just put class. Cool. Which is the whole purpose of classes, right? So I'm not sure what I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I'm not sure what I gain from having the components have scoped, because here I can scope I can scope my styles. For example, I could say I could take this style to the nested template. I can scope my styles and make it scoped. And it wouldn't affect the external class. But I don't see why I would do it the other way around. I mean, like maybe there's a use case for that. So if you make a new component and you don't want its styles to affect, you can scope it yourself, but you don't want the external styles to affect your internal style. But that's, I don't know. Okay, because I also use Tailwind, so I strip all the styles before I start, so it's okay. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's something that Vue doesn't do. Nested components. What is this? Styling HTML tags. Okay, this is the same pretty much. Here's they're using a backwards, which is a very good thing. This is pretty much the same here. You put it here, and the main difference is that in Vue we use a directive, which is okay. I mean, this is complicated for me, but that's okay. I guess you could get used to it. Equal VHTML is equal to string. Here's some. If you don't do that, you would get, if you just put string like that, of course you get, just like here. I imagine if I put here, if I put the thing here, and I put here, which is single bracket string, I guess that's the same thing. Okay, reactivity. Here we go. We're getting into the juicy stuff. Okay, this could be handled. There's several ways to do it in Vue. There's several ways in doing it. And I think the option API used to work like this with a you set a variable and then that variable is reactive. Okay, so when you click, here's using again JavaScript. This is good. It reacts. This is a good thing. However, you can do something similar here, but Vue 3 for performance reason separates variables that are that are not gonna change. So you would declare something like that. Let count. So if you did this in let's do it. We can just copy it. That's actually very good. Okay, so if you could erase everything, you could copy that, and you could pretty much copy these two and just change the things that are gonna be different, which is is gonna be wait, I'm missing a button. This on JavaScript would be click handle click and this will all be which is it's, I must admit it's a little bit funny to to just visual easy, but this will not work here. It will not work on purpose. It does not work on purpose. Why? You said because Vue 3 separates variables that are going to change. So it's watching and variables are not, because this is a very simple example, but usually you can have 10, 20, 50. So the variables that you know that are not going to change, you can handle them differently, and then you don't have to waste resources trying to I don't know if you can see here also, to create a watch on that element. You don't have to create the watches. So this is in JavaScript. This is like 70. Well, this is a lot more stuff, but you don't have to create. But even then, it's a lot less lines of code, because you're separating what you're gonna change from, if you're getting information from like the backend that is just not gonna end, or it's a JSON file that you're not gonna change, why make it changeable? Why watch it so you don't change it? It's just like a constant and a variable. No, it just solves you. If you wanted to make it, there's two ways to do it. That in Vue, one is the typical import. This was the Vue 3 imported the ref and from Vue. You can do that, and that just creates a view and make this a ref value. But then this has to be the value count. This creates an object with a value, and this will work, right? This is one way to do it, but some people complained because this is not exactly, it is JavaScript, because this is a I don't know what's called, but it's a JavaScript object. It creates an object, it creates an object. But what's that? Oops. It creates an object. I'm not sure what's there, but we can check it out. It's called console log. It's called. It creates a valid JavaScript object, so it's okay. With a shadow, it creates a valid object. with a prototype and a constructor. It creates a real JavaScript with a value, but uh, some people complain that this is, it can get tricky sometimes. You get to like it because it comes in very handy because then you know exactly what variables are changing. But since some people say we don't want this, blah blah blah, they complain. So I think Build 3 incorporated what is the $ref, which is very similar. You can put $ref, and it will work without value if you're gonna keep with that. I have a mixed feelings about that because I sort of like the idea of knowing when, for instance, what variables you can do this. But you can also, I'm not sure how you do it. I'm sure you can do it similar here. You don't really need this here. You could actually do it right here. You could say click equal account. You got that. You don't need this. Let's take this time to erase things here. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Always keep it clean. So you actually only have that, huh? Which is wow. It's not, but you believe this is done a lot more than you think. For example, to open Windows or to spell counter, so you got this is very. I'm not sure how many lines of code this is. This is very, very, very. It's nothing here. $ref, display string. Oh, great. I wonder if I put here why is it here? Oh. What does it do? It creates a variable, different. You see, it creates a different sort of value. So if I took this away, I'm not sure. I took this away. So it just, if you're not going to use variables, it's just plain. So that's really, really, really efficient. If you're going to add more stuff, then you can import that. But if you're not going to add movement, okay, what else? How long have we been now? So here we are. Okay, there's actually people watching this. That's cool. I'm just doing this a little bit for me yourself. I'll have a look. My music people. That's so funny. I got a friend from the music theory class. So that's cool. Because I should do some music stuff. So I'm doing this. That's good. What else do we have we got here? Reactive. I mean, it looks good. I mean, what surprises me is how much they couple with each other. Oh, here we got. Here we have reactive components. This looks very strange to me. This looks very, very strange to me. But it's okay, I understand it. That's something that's you can do a lot. And let me think here now. How you would do this in view 3? Do you have a couple of ways to do it? I think I have a similar example right here. Yeah, you have a couple of ways of doing it. Because you could, for example, let me take this from here. You could import the watch effect. There's a couple of ways of doing it. I mean, I'm saying, ah, is this a function? What is this? So it's fine, but I don't know. That's what I was saying. I don't even know if that's a valid JavaScript object. Is that what is actually mean in JavaScript first? What is if I do dollar equals what is it gonna it doesn't do anything. No, it doesn't do anything, right? Oh. It's sort of like jQuery, which that's just gives me the GDs. I don't know what that is, or if that's actually what I did. So there's a couple of ways you could do this in in view. Let's try with the watch effect. Watch effect, you would just create. Let me see. Look at it because this is documentation. You would I just copy it from. Oh, okay. You could do a watch effect here. There's a couple of ways, but this is a new way in Vue 3, which I find very, very interesting, because you could just I mean, I like to declare the variables because it's just do not do this, children of mine, because it's not defined. Watch effect. It's not a good. These are bad habits from back in the day. You declaring variables without specifying what they are, but you can do it. And then you could then do this copy, which is, I mean, that's just crazy to me. This should work, right? I mean, that is funny, eh? You could just copy stuff from here, which is a good thing. And then, but that's the thing. You could watch anything there. You could do watch effect, all the variables that you want to watch. Anytime it changes, it updates. That's new in Vue 3. That's actually really cool. I mean, I think. Put it here. Let's put the P here. And let's do the double bracket stuff. So it's different, yeah, sure, but it's not that different. I mean, okay, so we're looking at this. Some days I should do music also in the morning, maybe. And then if we start with here, click on 10, click to 10. Okay, but I don't have the function, and I have to import watch effect, which is okay because at the end it's importing all this stuff to insert the thing. Wow, what is that? Create fragment. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Wow. Whoa. See, you have to put a listener here. Listener to button mounted true. If dirty, that's a lot of code. Huh? My goodness. 100 click. Wow, that's just really advanced. I'm not sure what this is. Okay, but oh, the JS code it creates is just not going to be that complicated. I think. It's not complicated. By the way, this C references is funny because I think. Well, yeah, it's hard JavaScript. You can do that. You can create all your elements from pure JavaScript. In fact, that's how I got to learn Vue because I was trying to do a similar thing, create JavaScript objects uh, well, from JavaScript to an object that could navigate. Okay, we got there reactive statements. This is similar. You could actually copy it here, I would think, which is again very funny. You could put it in the watch effect, just like that. Which is better? I don't know. It's very hard to say because this is a very simple example. This is, but what if you had like 20 variables, and if you had a watch here, then you got a watch here, then you, I don't know. So I mean, this works the same here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, which is the same thing. It's inside the watch effect. It's not. Okay, it's fine. That's cool. What else? Props. Props are very similar. Defining props. Export. I don't know why you have to export. I'm not sure how you import. Let me see. View documentation. How do you import props? So just having that memorized. I wouldn't want to give bad information. Well. What is this? Props. Yeah. It's a defined prop, which I thought. I don't understand this very much, but that's okay. You put here the template. You would put the template here. We gotta keep it scoped. Nah, let's keep this style scoped out. The script tag would be here double. Can you have default? I don't know. And it would be the same. The only thing that the script tag would be. The script tag, script setup. And you will define prop, I think. Fine. props. I think it's enough. Look at here. I did this right. Yeah, I think so. You could put. But you could define it. All right. You could do that. Okay. Can you just do that? Really? I don't know. And then you would put here, it's called nested, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. I had this before. Import. Nested view. Correct. And I could put here. It's not defined. We'll fix it that. I put here. What is it? And I will put here. That's just crazy to me. For example, no, I'm gonna put something that's not reactive. I think I gotta define. Sorry. This should work. It's string with a minuscule. Okay. String defined. I don't know how to define this. I will have to look up. I don't remember. Yeah, that's true. That's good. Define prop string. That's good. Should be string. Yeah. That's correct. I'm not invalid prop. Because it's a number. Maybe. Yeah. No, already. This should be okay. Oh, I was giving that error already. Oh, sorry. Yeah, tonteria. Because it's my fault. This is not a variable. Sorry. Yeah. It was not a variable. It's a constant. If it was a variable, then you would do that. You would have to do that this way. And then you have to put the variable here, which is a count, but that's a number. Oh, does it change with that? Is it reactive? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's pretty much it. Default answer. How is it here? Default values. I don't know how to do that. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty much the same thing. what confuses me is why is this exporting if it's actually importing it, right? Because I'm sending this, yeah, exporting the variable. Okay, uh, I'm sure you could do this, but I'm not. I don't know how to do that already because I don't use it that much. I suppose you could, but I don't see. I don't see the point really. Having a default value. Okay. I mean, I'm sure you can do it, but I haven't never had to done that. Expect the number. This is good because this is a string. For the number will happen. Yeah, which is using some TypeScript by default. Which I'm sure you don't have to do that. Yeah? But I'm using TypeScript, so hey. So that's pretty much it. So what else? Let's look at what else it has in reactive statement within that. Default values, spread operators. Whoa. This just looks so strange to me. Because I would do, of course, I would do. I don't know why they do that. This. I don't understand. I mean, I know what they're doing. So they are sending, but is that because you can't send the whole package, or what? Why? I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that. Because here you would do it this way. You could import a package called you could import, which is an object, and that's all you have to do. All right, and you could if you wanted to, then you could do a constant package. This is not going to change, so I put it here, constant package. For example, this is something that it's not going to watch, so, and then you could just send it. But the good thing is you could send the package could be package. But you could also call it, you have to make it a variable like this to make it a variable. But you could also, I could also send this info, call this info, and it doesn't matter. I can send the package like that. And then I have access to the package info, but if I wanted to do this, which is like I really don't understand it. What's the point? You also have access to. You have two ways of doing this. You could do. You could do two ways to do this. Let's copy the whole thing. Okay. Oh my goodness. You could do put the package name here, and then you put the Svelte package, or you could destructure the package directly here. You could create a constant from here, constant For example, props equal define, and then this structure constant name some props. I'm not sure what I say. And the artist name you can say the structure, sure, or two refs or something like that. But I'm not sure why you would want to create the whole thing. So that's pretty much it. And what do we have here? The creating props, default values, spread operator. I'll have to look more into this. I don't see any advantage of doing it, something like this, because you have access to this object here, and then you can extract it. You can do all kind of stuff with it. It's late, so I'm gonna quit now. What are we gonna look at this? You've got if blocks. This is very similar in view. Very similar. Let's take this away. User login. This is the last one we're gonna do. I made it a bit tight. Cansado, tired. Okay. Let's copy it. We don't need we can put it inside $ref because it will be reactive, and then we don't need anymore. See. So I'm not sure here what we're doing. Of course, this is also comes with preferences. I'm sure there's a better way to do that in Svelte. By the way, I'm not speaking bad about Svelte. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna, so here we'll put user punto login. I can actually copy the whole function here inside. This should work, right? There's something wrong here. Okay, and then I would do, which I don't see why not. I'm not sure why they do this. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's just that simple. Huh? Do I like this? I honestly don't like, but I know that. I know that it's just strange artifacts. So I'm gonna call it a day now because I'm very tired. I have to have breakfast. Okay, well, it looking good, you know. I mean, I can see it, but I think frameworks like Vue and even Angular in its first iterations made a couple of these mistakes of making things very easy, and at the end that actually complicated this. This is good. I mean, I'm sure you could do this here too. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I just don't know how. So else block, this is the same. It's within the. I'm sort of used to that, but that's okay. Also, this will be interesting. It's sort of like a templating language, right? This has got the same thing. Key this. Well, I don't know. So we'll call it the to be continued. Very interesting. Bye bye.